So like, obviously don't include this part in the next like thing. So many things are affected by politics or built in politics.
You know, I totally believe there's probably some fraud, right? No, hear me out, okay? Like they've shown cases where dead people have voted, right? And other things like that.
So few. There were like 2 people.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like there's no way that that's going to sway the vote by 30,000 votes.
No.
Right?
There was a list of people going around where people had said like all these dead people voted, and they went through that entire list that was going around and none of those people voted. Like there were no votes from those people. And I'm sorry.
Sent me a video that somebody had done, and it was actually done by, he calls himself the father of email, the inventor of email. And I guess technically this guy kind of did create email. Not the original ARPANET messages going back and forth, but the formatted email. So, I mean, he's a smart guy. He's a mathematician. He's a computer guy, right? Okay, so I guess when the Americans vote, they vote 2 different ways. They vote, one way is for the party. The other way is for the person. And you can vote one or the other. I don't think you can vote both. I'm not sure if that's correct, but that's kind of how I was gathering what he was saying. Well, he took all this data and he compiled it, and he produced these graphs. So he was saying, you know, if you take the number of voters who say that they are voting for the candidate, the percentage so if you're in a Republican state, the percentage of people who vote Republican should be roughly the same as the percentage that votes for their leader.
Yeah.
Right? And so he shows a standard graph. If that's the case, it plots out, it all comes along this 0 percentage line because it balances out, right? But then he showed it according to the data that has come. And there's this very straight line decline. The more Republican a state gets, the lower that is, like the lower percentage basically that vote for Trump than vote Republican, right? And he's all about how this demonstrates voter fraud because yeah, you're getting it already, right? He says because there's such a straight line there that there's no way that line could be so straight. And I'm like, dude, it's just how you interpret the data, right?
It's also like maybe a bunch of people are like appreciate Republican or conservative values, but don't like you.
Exactly. What this really demonstrates is that nobody likes Trump,
Yep.
Not even the Republicans.
And those last few weeks before the election, oh boy, he was just digging his own grave.
I think it's settling a bit. I'm hearing that some of the cases have been dropped and there may be a peaceful resolution for this, but I was a little afraid, honestly, it was going to, all these MAGA people were going to be up in arms and literally in arms.
I'm a little bit worried that it might come back, like once the Electoral College votes and like once it's 100% confirmed.
If for some reason the electoral votes, the system that they have doesn't count, I'm not in American politics, so I don't know all this stuff, but somehow it could end up at some point where it becomes 1 vote per state. And if it becomes 1 vote per state, Trump actually won more states than Biden, right?
Yeah.
But the states that he won had less people and less electoral colleges, which means that they get less votes overall, right?
Yeah. It was confusing to me. I was trying to like do a bunch of research on the Electoral College because I was like, this voting system is just so confusing.
I know, right?
Then like looking into the history of it, it makes so much sense because it's like basically it was built so that minorities had less of an impact on who would get like voted in. The voting system is built in racism. Yeah, it was like, so basically like per state, there's a certain amount of like elector votes that aren't guaranteed to vote with the popular vote of that state. However, the majority of the time they do go with the result of their state. Then that's who they like cast their vote for. And then I was confused with like this whole, why does the Electoral College still have to vote then? Because I was like, I don't really remember anything like that happening in 2016. I don't remember a lot of like talk about the Electoral College vote. It was just like once Trump hit 270, everybody was like, he's going to be the next president. But now everybody's like, yes, Biden went over that, but no, he's not going to be the president. I'm like, what is this system? Like, what? And then, so if he has those votes in the 270, like, is it because the Electoral College still hasn't technically voted? So those 270 votes are the projected result of the Electoral College votes?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of presumed that it was that the people who represented the Electoral College could still vote and could vote differently, but that doesn't usually happen. So
that's why he's like the projected winner, is because they don't usually change their votes. I can't remember who it was, but somebody sent this video into our little friend group chat where it was this TikTok of this guy, and he was dressed up in like American paraphernalia, and he was like leaving the door, and he was labeled my election anxiety, and it was like, bye. Like he's leaving out the door, and then there's like the 3 guys labeled like work stress, sleep, or whatever, and then like
Corona stress.
Pardon?
Corona stress.
Yeah, pandemic stress and like all that stuff. And then they all like look up, and in comes through the door, it's labeled my regular anxiety, and they're all like, welcome back. This is a wild world.